Sleep token. Take me back to Eden. Is it any good? Now, guys, I know that I said that I would try to go in order, but this is one of those songs after looking back at all the comments that you guys have left at all the videos. This is like the most popular one. And after listening to the entirety of the Sundowning album, you can basically see every single one of my reactions to that album on my channel. I'm like, man, let me switch it up a little bit and go back to something that y'all were really telling me to check out. So this is gonna be one of those times. So yeah, let's see how this sounds. Okay, I hear like some birds chirping, very nature-like. But this is what Eden is, right? Apple of Eden. And we have an angel, or is this vessel? I dream in phosphorescence, bleed through spaces, see you drifting past the fall, but no one told you where to go. Crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe another way. Man. He said we die for these things, you know. What do you say? I'm gonna try to run it back, but basically I caught basically what he was trying to say there, that little metaphor at the end. You know, we reach for these things. Or I've been told to reach for these things, right? That's what everybody says to do, I guess. But nobody told me not to breathe. And now I'm drowning in it all. The way that everything is kind of rolling in, it's like so subtle in the back, but I'm predicting that things get really intense, like with the instrumentals as well as the vocals here. That's what I'm guessing. I feel like there's a build up coming, like it's building up to something, I should say. Like fire in my brain. What did he say? Did he say funeral pyre? We set my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire. I will travel far beyond the path of reason. Take me back to Eden, take me back to Eden. Bro, I knew it. Didn't I tell y'all? Did not tell y'all it was coming. Wow. He said, what does he say? I'm losing reason, or I've lost all reason. Take me back to Eden, something like that. But the way that beat came in, and then the way he was hitting that note, oh, the intensity! I told you it was coming. I knew it. But yeah, like this whole thing is basically kind of still relating to the Sundowning album. Now, their Sundowning album was their debut album, and this is afterwards, I presume, you know, well afterwards, maybe. I'm not sure if it's well afterwards or not, but my point being is that still, you know, Vessel is still struggling with the should I not, or the feelings of why shouldn't I, when it just feels so great, even if it's bad for me. Why shouldn't I do this? Why shouldn't I take this dive? But it seems like he's, you know, this is one of those moments where he's gotten like lost in the sauce, and he's realizing that he's kind of in too deep, and he wants to go back to Eden. I guess I don't know exactly what that means. I'm assuming back to Eden might just mean back to maybe just feeling wonderful, or a wonderful place. You know, take me back to where I was before I felt like I was drowning, sort of situation. But man. Two was going crazy on the percussion. And this is definitely like a punch to the face, because the last Sleep Token song that I heard was the cover to I Want to Dance with Somebody, and I listened to the whole deluxe version of, or the deluxe bonus tracks of Sundowning, and you know, those were all stripped. You know, it wasn't too intense. It was a little more intimate with the way everything sounded. And it just going back to this is like a gut punch again, but like in the best way. They definitely like both have their pros.
Well, yeah, I spit blood when I wake up. Sink porcelain stain, choking up brain matter and makeup. Just 2 days since the mainframe went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts.
Room feels like a meat freezer and I'm dangling like cold cuts. Hold on, bro.
Yeah, I spit blood when I wake up. Sink porcelain stain, choking up brain matter and makeup. Just 2 days since the mainframe went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts. Missed calls, answer phones from people I just don't trust. Mirror talk, fake love, but I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub. Calls, answer phones from people I just don't trust. Mirror talk, fake love, but I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub. White roses, black.
I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a chunk of my pay stub.
Pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my pay stub.
Or a piece of my pay stub.
Roses, black doves, Godmother, rise up. I need you to see me for what I have become. My mind, those eyes like fire. I'm a winged insect, you're a funeral pyre. Come now.
Bro, this sounds so good, and the way it's switched up, and I've said this before, they're so good at that, the switch up, bro. Oh my gosh.
You're a funeral pyre. Come now, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell and the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines.
Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire. Take a chunk out of me, take a bite. Remember that? Take a bite from Sundowning? It's just like some, like, I'm telling you, man, I feel like it's like falling back to it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I see the parallels, like I see the similarities, man.
Sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
With the pianos, man, I love the pianos. Bro, do you see how they just went from like such intensity back down to a subdued sound so seamlessly? It sounds so nice. They're masters at that. Every time they do it. And I'll always comment on it. Never enough glaze, you know?
I guess it goes to show, does it not, that we've no idea what we've got until we lose it.
Ain't that the truth, brother?
And no amount of love will keep it around if we don't choose it. And I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger. No amount of self-sorrow.
He said, I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger. So now you're trying to take a bite. But you're the one that wanted this. But now that you're in too deep, now you want to be angry and lash out. I don't know. Doesn't sound like that makes too much sense to me, man. This is the situation that you wanted. This is what you wanted. Should have thought about it.
No amount of self-sorrow will bring back the glory of innocence.
You hear the drums?
Those eyes like fire, I'm a winged insect, perfume on fire. Come now, bite through these wires, I'm a waking hell, and the gods grow tired.
And the gods grow tired, man. And I love how this visualizer has been evolving from being, not really being able to see much detail at all to just look at this, going from a grayed out to now a yellowish golden, which could be, you could look at this as a flame perhaps, right? I haven't even really been paying too much attention to the details that they've been coming up, but it's orange. It's could possibly be going to a red. We're talking about fires and all that, right? So this could be something that is related to that.
Come now, bite through these wires, I'm a waking hell, and the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
Bro, what is it? You know my desire, and he's like going. That sounds great.
Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my
background vocals, but you still hear the note being held. Oh my gosh, bro, my head hurts. That was nasty. That was gross. That was disgusting. You hear the whoa 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 whoa. Oh my goodness. Yo, Vessel and 2 are going absolutely bonkers. They're going crazy. Oh! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Son. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to give my thoughts on this. I'm going to give some sort of an interpretation and all that good stuff. But before I do, if you made it this far, you liked my reaction, even though I was like so locked into the song a lot of the time, leave a like, man. You don't have to, but it would mean a lot to me if you did leave a like. It'd be great. But anyways, yeah, let's talk about this insanity of a song. I think this song might have the most switch ups that I have heard. I think it might. And this is a long song too. I think the timing said it's like over 8 minutes or something like that. Double check. Yeah, it's over 8 minutes. Um, and man, did they used every second of that 8 minutes to just go crazy with different sounds, different moods, and the intensity when it got intense was crazy. And I man, my spider sense was tingling, bro, in the beginning when I said I feel like we're building up to something. Yeah, we built up to something. All right. That was nasty. Oh my goodness, that was gross. That drop was gross in the best way. Um, but anyways, yeah, I could glaze Vessel too, and the way that they, put everything together. I could do that all day. But I do want to talk about, I guess, some sort of an interpretation about the song. So the way that I interpret things here is basically this person saying, people tell you to do these things. People tell you to reach for gems, so to speak, or people tell you to just take a plunge in something you believe in, something you want. Um, but when you take a plunge into an ocean, metaphorically speaking, people told me to do this and to just keep reaching and to never, um, what's the word? No, 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 I can't think of the word. It's escaping me, but basically to never slow up. Just keep going. Don't take no for an answer. But nobody told you, like people told you to do that, but then nobody tells you to breathe. Nobody tells you to come up for air. And he was lost in the sauce. And I think that now the only way that he can kind of get himself out of this sort of a situation, of this feeling, whether it be just, I don't know, pure selfishness, maybe of trying to get what he wants, It could be interpreted that way, I guess, right? And I'm sure you guys will let me know what the different perspectives are, but this is a first time listen, guys. Um, it's either that or basically wants he wants what he was reaching, what he was like plunging for, because he never got it. So he's like, the only way that I could do that, the only way that I could do that properly is if kind of somebody brings me out of this slump so I can then go back down. Somebody brings me up for air to Eden, to where it's wonderful, and then I'll go and I'll take that plunge again. That's what I'm guessing, right? Because he keeps saying, like, out of anger, like, hey, I don't like, first of all, he's like, take a bite, basically, like take a bite out of me. It sounded like he was making an offering, you know, basically saying, yo, like, come on, do it, right? But he was in too deep, and instead of kind of being a little introspective and trying to figure out why are things this way, or taking a moment to just kind of just think in general, it's just anger, it's just instant, like, just lashing out, you know because of how he feels like he's just been suspended in this ocean of, I guess, despair, loneliness, whatever. Because he said in the beginning, I feel like I'm being, like, hung up, like basically like some cold cuts, um, in a freezer, on some hooks. Um, but yeah, man, that's what I'm guessing. Uh, but even then, I'm not too sure what the whole funeral pyre thing is. At this time, I'm gonna go and check out the lyrics, do a quick scan, and then I'll cut back to you, and we'll see whether or not my thoughts change on that. All right, man. So I'm looking at these lyrics, and I think I might have gotten some of that wrong. A lot of that wrong, actually. Um, he is basically suspended in a place, but now that I'm looking at it, right, it seems like he's depressed, right? In a fog, feels isolated, feels alone. And it's unfortunate because it appears like he's in a relationship with someone, but the fire in the relationship isn't there. He feels like he's suspended in a relationship that he doesn't necessarily want to be in anymore. He wants what was, like, what used to be there, right? The fire that used to be there, um, the the paradise, I guess, right, in that relationship as it was before Eden, right? And fortunately, he's kind of stuck in this rut by himself, and he can't pull himself up out of this rut by himself. He can't make this relationship work or take it back to where it used to go by itself. He wants the other person to kind of fight for him, but instead of fighting, not just fight for him, but fight for the relationship. But instead of fighting for the relationship, it seems as though he may be getting, like, used in a way, or kind of like, it's a one sided, like, it's kind of like parasitic. It seems like, um, and that's why he's saying, like, okay, you're gonna bite me. You're gonna try to, because he was talking about, like, you're trying to take a piece of my pay stub, right? Like, you're trying to be parasitic and basically take everything I am. Meanwhile, I'm over here depressed, and all for what? This isn't even what it used to be. This isn't even what I want anymore, or what we want. And I'm gonna, maybe I should bite back in anger. Maybe I should do the same thing you've been doing. And it seems like he doesn't want to do that. So he's saying, like, only you can kind of make this work. I can't do this by myself. It has to be a us thing, but you need to take the step too. So he's like looking at this person, saying, like, those eyes that you have, it's like a pyre, and I'll be drawn to you, forever. But unless you use that control over me to, like, to basically cut through all the nonsense and try to bring me back from this place, this ain't gonna work. I would love to go back to Eden, basically begging this person, take us back there, take me back there to what it used to be. And that's what my interpretation of what this song is now that I read the lyrics. You know, just depression, loneliness, and a feeling of being taken advantage of. when you're not even alone. Like you feel lonely with somebody and you're not even alone. It's just such a far shoot from where you used to be. And that's why probably he's talking about being in like in oceans and he said in the beginning, I see you drifting past the fog, but no one told you where to go. Then he says something about we dive through crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe. So there's like all of these while they're right next to each other, while they're so close to seeing each other, it's like they're in a fog. Like this fog keeps them apart. It's like they're in an ocean, you know, that just is constantly keeping them away from each other. And like the further they sink away from each other, the further they drift away from each other, the harder this gets. Really, really dope. Like the poetry, they're always nailing it with the poetry. And I could be wrong, but just based off of what I read, that's kind of like my perspective on like how I see things. And you feel free, guys. You know, I always look at the comments, so let me know what you think or if I got this wrong or right or whatever. Um, but yeah, man, hell of a song, hell of a song. Um, I'm actually kind of glad I did this. It was a nice little bit of a change of pace uh, in the last few songs that I've listened to, and yeah, I'm excited to hear more and get going on the next one. Um, but until that time comes, thank you again. If you made it this far, leave a like, guys. You know the vibes, and I appreciate all your support as always. So yeah, be well, be safe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.